Hello, my name is Mercury, and welcome to this brand episode of Media Fae. Today I'm alone, and today I'll be discussing the 6th volume of RWBY. So yeah, we're continuing with this little speed run of RWBY. I guess you could call it. This little speed run of the show. With a volume 6. So yeah, nothing more to say about the intro. Just after this, 3 more volumes to go, 3 more episodes, and we are done with RWBY. I think I said before, but I'm not covering the Justice League movies. I'm not covering Ice Queendom, and I am not covering RWBY Beyond or the RWBY Volume 9 epilogue. Sorry, those are, to me, those are spin-offs, and I will talk about them maybe someday, but not in this series. I don't have the time for that. But yeah, let's just get right into it. Yeah. So, what does Volume 6 have to offer? Well, Let's start where we always start. So with the animations. So I've previously said that in last volume and volume 4 that the animation didn't get it got, I guess, graphically better. Like, they used a new engine and it looks better than it did in previous volumes. But the action just wasn't there. It didn't have the speed and the impressiveness, I guess. Like, just the quality of the fight scenes weren't as good as they were in volumes 1 to 3. That was a big critique I had with the show. So, did it change? Yeah, actually. From volumes 4 to 5, I said that the action sequences have gotten worse. People are just standing around doing nothing while the fight scenes go on, and they're told to do things. Well, in this volume, there's no such thing. I actually really do like the fight scenes in this volume. There's not a lot of them, but the ones that there are pretty good, and like I said, I do enjoy them. The Maria versus Talk fight is really cool. The characters aren't standing around doing nothing, but it feels like they're like knocked down from Maria's attacks. The fight scenes with the final fight scene with one of the final fight scenes with the giant mech, I do feel is actually well made. Like, the characters do things. Nobody is standing around doing nothing, or if they are, then, well, it's a plan. Like, they already fulfilled the role during the plan, or are fighting some other character. The Adam versus Blake fight and, well, Yang fight is well animated, but I will talk about that fight character wise. But I do feel like it's well animated, and the characters here look, I mean, pretty much the same, but I feel like it's a lot more interesting, and I actually don't mind the snow effect. I think it looks fine. I feel like it would, if this series had a bigger budget, I feel like it would have had, I guess, snow effects on the characters, but it doesn't, so there's that. But yeah, I do like how, like, for example, I like how the town Argus feels. That's where we're going here at Argus. I do like how it all looks, but if it looked better, I feel like it could have worked a lot more. But it's fine. Like, the animation looks good. So yeah, so I think that's pretty much it I want to talk about for the animation. So what about the characters? What about the sort of the main thing? So in sort of like differing itself from. Oh, I forgot to mention something about the animation. Just give me a second. This is more to do with the character models. I mean, that is part of the animation, but there is a clear difference between what will become the Volume 7 character models and the Volume 6 models. This is the end of the Mr. arc, and I feel like that this arc has a very specific art style that is similar but slightly different to the one we're currently in. This one is a lot less polished. The one later on, Volume 7, is a lot more polished, and I guess the character models are a lot more design heavy, like they have a lot more features. And in this volume, we see the designs for Cinder and Neo, which Neo returns, but I'm not gonna talk about her because she kind of does nothing. And so does Cinder. None of the villains really do anything here. Other than I think Salem learns that Oz is returning, but that's about it. None of the villains do anything in this volume. So they are they look very different in contrast to the characters we see here. Sure, the characters we're currently following, they have aspects of the design that are kind of design heavy. Like, for example, RWBY has like a million fucking colors and has like a million boot straps on her boots. Like, it's insane. That is too much. I don't get the obsession RWBY has with belts, like RWBY in general has with belts. Belts to me aren't very interesting. They just I don't know. I don't find belts interesting. That's just my opinion for the character design. And with this show, I'm like, yeah, I'd rather stay away from straps and boot straps and all that shit. Because it makes the design look a bit too cluttered. Yeah, I don't get it. Like, for example, Cinder's new design has like two belts going like across around her like waist, and that looks. I gotta say, that's just too much. There's no reason to have belts like that. One, belts like that, having two belts, and two, have them do nothing because there's nothing on those belts. It's just kind of for character design, to follow the design. I feel like it would have looked a lot better with one belt. But yeah, like I said, the designs look a bit too over designed, and it's probably gonna change when we get to Volume 7 and we get to those designs, which are much more in line with that. But it definitely looks different, and it'll become, I guess, more apparent when I talk about Volume 7. The fact that in the first few episodes, I've not gotten past episode 2, but those first few episodes are in their Volume 6 designs, and they do look different. But yeah, I'll talk about that later. Yeah, so I can move on to the characters. So, Team RWBY has gotten some development, except for Weiss. Weiss has not gotten any development since Volume 4. But yeah, RWBY, I guess, got more. I guess they didn't get, like, I don't know if it's called character development, but she had, like, I guess, she did learn more about her, like, abilities, and that's something that we haven't really seen up to this point. We haven't seen RWBY really focus on fleshing out the Silver Eyes, and that was introduced in Volume 3. Well, technically, Volume 1. It's been like, oh, you have Silver Eyes, and we didn't really see what those do until Volume 3, and then we didn't see it at all during Volume 4, and it was a thing in Volume 5. She did use it in Volume 5, but it wasn't really explained. It was much more to explain Cinder's power, or like to allude to Cinder having a Grim Arm. Which is kind of contradictory to what Salem says, that it was acquired through a new power. To be honest, I have no idea what does she mean by new power. Does it mean the arm, because if that's the arm, then I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. But if it's like if it's the Grim arm, then that makes sense. But if it's like the maiden powers, I feel like it could make sense because we will get into the lore here like a little. But this season's like 5 years old. But it's explained that I guess kind of implied that the gifts like the magic comes from the god of darkness, and I guess that makes a little sense because magic is mostly used as like an attacking force. Like it's much more used as an offensive thing. It's not used for defense, not a lot. So it makes sense that it's used by that it's made by the god of darkness. So if, for example, the Silver Eyes don't just eliminate Grimm, but eliminate everything that the god of darkness made, then I guess it makes sense. But then it also doesn't make sense why they're not affected. I don't know. Like it's sort of weird. Maybe you need more power to your Silver Eyes to actually, if this word to be true. Maybe you need more power in your Silver Eyes to destroy things like magic, like just annihilate maidens and magic and all that. Maybe you need more like power. Maybe Ruby isn't using all the power she actually can use. But maybe just kind of spitballing here. I don't know. But yeah, Ruby had learned about the Silver Eyes, learned how to use them against a new Grin. I actually kind of like the apathy. I like how they work. That they don't they don't really attack. They're kind of weak, but they sort of subdue a person. Like they tire a person. They make a person feel apathy and feel tired. And I think that's a pretty cool concept. But yeah, I like seeing that. But she learns much more about Silver Eyes and actually, I guess, learning, like, actually developing. And I don't know, like, to be honest, Ruby's Silver Eyes development, I feel like it was kind of rushed a little. Like it wasn't it was only for this, like it was sure it was this volume, but I guess since she can't train the Silver Eyes naturally, like she can't just she has to go out of her way to do it, then I guess this could make, I don't know, it's kind of weird. We go from apathy, which are one of the weakest Grimm, to straight into the Leviathan. Sure, we started off with the Wyvern, which they call Wyvern. Okay, I gotta go on a tirade here. I gotta talk. It is Wyvern. It's not Wyvern. I don't know. Why? Who? What voice director? What voice? Okay. It's either the voice director or it's the actress. That's the thing I don't get. Like, it has to be the voice director, right? There's no. It has to be that either the Lindsay doesn't know how to say Wyvern, or it's that the voice director doesn't care that they don't know how to say Wyvern and say Wyvern. But then maybe it's the voice director that makes Lindsay say Wyvern instead of Wyvern, because maybe they know as Wyvern. I don't know. Maybe it's pronounced Wyvern in universe. But if it's any of those, it does not excuse the whole pronunciation of Wyvern. It's Wyvern. It's not Wyvern. Like, It is like in the English language that it is wyvern. Hold on, I'm gonna play it because because it infuriates me. It is wyvern.
Wyvern.
There we go. I don't know if you guys heard it, but it's wyvern. But yeah, I hate it. I hate it. I hate the when I heard I heard this before because I think in the Justice League movie, I haven't watched it yet, but I think the wyvern grim shows up there, and I think they do say wyvern, and I was like, that's fucking stupid. Why would you say wyvern? And like, okay, that's maybe probably in the show. And then here they actually say wyvern. I'm like, my fucking god, it is wyvern. Wyvern. Not wyvern. Anyways, but yeah, we start out with the wyvern, and then we go into the apathy, or we go to Cinder, then we go to the apathy, and then the Leviathan. Like, it's a very weird journey. But I guess it's, I don't know if I'm okay with it or not, because we see that sure, she can use it, but it's probably not a full power, because it doesn't freeze the Leviathan fully. Like, for example, Maria could instantly she says she can evaporate Grimm. Like, it's probably because she's trained. She didn't need to use that much power against the Nevermore, which she does freeze, and then it falls, and then it just shatters into a million pieces. But maybe if she put more power into it, she could really evaporate the thing. And we know that the wyvern in the RWBY canon is still somewhat conscious, like, or it's still somewhat alive. Like, it's still attracting Grimm to Beacon Academy. So it's like somewhat alive, but it's mostly dead. And the Apathy Grimm were actually straight up annihilated, but there was just so many of them that it didn't work. Like, there were so many of them that it kind of didn't matter. And with the Leviathan, it's sort of like it froze it, but it broke out, and then it was killed by Cordovan. But yeah, just sort of tired, a little tired here. But I feel like it could have been, I guess, set up better. Maybe seeing RWBY, like, maybe we see RWBY actually sort of fight more Grimm on the way. Maybe try to use it a little bit more. And maybe, I don't know, it just maybe it didn't work at first. It doesn't work because he's trying to force it or something. But I feel like it could have been done a lot better, and definitely a lot before Volume 6. So that, like, we're finally getting more development on this. But yeah, like I said, Weiss doesn't get anything. I'm just gonna move on through it. Weiss doesn't get anything. Blake and Yang kind of go together, and I've heard this is the start of Blake and Yang sort of being exclusive to each other and sort of talking about each other. But yeah, no, like, they're like, it's a weird. Their relationship here is weird, to say the least. It is weird. So, like I said, like I think last volume I said that Yang was happy to see Blake. Happy to be, I guess, like, back together, and that's sort of still here, I guess. But it's not. It's not really played that way, I guess. And it's like Blake says something on the farm, sort of like little arc that they had in the farm where they encounter the Apathy. Like, Blake says that she'll protect Yang, and that for some reason we don't. It's not explained why she doesn't like that, but Yang doesn't like that. And then when they fight Adam at the end, which that man shows up out of nowhere, and I'm glad he's fucking dead. I was gonna talk about him later, but I'm gonna say I'm glad he's dead. His voice annoys me, especially in this volume. He was such a crybaby last volume, and this volume too when he showed up. So I would have liked to see. I would like to see much more of Adam, like show up before his like random ass appearance at the end. But yeah, I would like to see more. But when Blake and Yang are fighting Adam, she goes, she's not protecting me, I'm not protecting her, we're protecting each other. And it's like, what is that? What is that supposed to mean? Right? Like, what? That just means what you're already stating. That you are protecting her. You're protecting each. If you're protecting each other, you are protecting her, and she's protecting you. What are you talking about? That it's the same thing. It's the same thing. You are saying the exact same thing you just said, but just like in one sentence instead of two. You just said nothing. Like, you actually just said nothing. So, yeah, kind of idiotic. I feel like if they wanted this, if they wanted this, that sort of like, if it wanted as sort of them reunited, if they wanted them to feel, I guess, like, have a reunion moment and just try get sort of flesh out what was established in Volume 5. They wanted that at the end where Yang's happy to see her. I feel like it could have maybe it could have been sort of taken out, like, I don't know, and maybe it should have been explained more in this volume. Maybe have an argument, I don't know. Just anything to actually flesh out their friendship, which will eventually become like a full-on relationship. Romantic relationship, to put it bluntly. So it should have been, I think, fleshed out more here. Because it should have been the start here. If they want to do that, it should have been the start here, and then it's slowly, gradually doing it. But we're kind of jumping a lot. There's a lot of jump. We jumped a lot from like them arguing, from Yang not liking Blake because she left, to Yang being okay with Blake, to Yang having like not being okay with Blake a little, to then her being like okay with Blake again. Like, there's a lot of jumps here in 2 volumes, and it needed more time to really flourish and work. So yeah, that's my opinion on Blake and Yang, which now they're sort of merging into Blake Yang. So Team Juniper, without the P. Red and Nora again are getting kind of sidelined here. They are not getting development because they already got the development back in Volume 4, and they don't really know what to do with these characters. They just kind of have to have them around. And they're mostly just emotional support for John, which John has moments here, like not good moments, but he has a moment with a Pyrrha statue, which is the most obvious thing I've seen trying to bait into nostalgia. I will say, like, it is very nostalgia baity. But, yeah, and a weird ass scene with somebody who... The scene where in the Pyrrha statue, I'm just gonna talk about it, is the only moment we see of, like, I guess, a character moment for John. And I don't know. It doesn't go anywhere, I think. And this character that we see who looks like Pyrrha. And unless that is just Pyrrha from the future or something, or like a Pyrrha from another timeline, why hide the identity of this person? This person is just known as red-haired woman, and she's voiced by Jen Brown, which I'm pretty sure is the actress of Pyrrha. So she looks like Pyrrha, has the same voice actor as Pyrrha, and they don't show who it is. So yeah, unless that's literally just Pyrrha. Oh, she's non-binary. Whoops, sorry. So yeah, unless that's literally Pyrrha that we're following, like here, like I don't see why this character would have the same voice actor as our voice actor. Or it's Pyrrha's mother, like, I guess. But I don't know. I don't get it. Like, why hide it? I think it would have been much, much, much more impactful if this person was like revealed to be Pyrrha's mother. But it's not. Like this character doesn't get this character doesn't get any more like nothing, like dialogue, no name, no nothing. I think it would have been a lot more impactful if she was Pyrrha's mom, like fully, but yeah. But she's not, and that could have been an interesting scene, but I guess it would have been too much to have John's family, which is Saffron and Tara, and then also Pyrrha's mom, like Pyrrha's family here in Arya's. But to be genuinely honest with you, the fact that the pistachio is already here is a bit too much for John. But yeah. That's it. That's all I gotta say about John. John doesn't do anything because he's missing half the volume, which is kind of actually, I don't mind it. Sure, I guess one of the things this volume has is the fact that we're actually focusing on characters. We're focusing on characters. This volume felt a lot more like, I guess it felt like we're focusing more on the characters. Right, like the real character we have here, rather than like on random people. Fucking Raven. But yeah. Also, nobody here has made me fucking mad, except for the leader. I forgot something about John. I actually forgot. So at the end of this, at the end of the thing, John suggests that to get to Atlas, because the only person to get to Atlas is Vaishni, which she could just, if she's allowed entry back into Atlas because she's a Shni. So it would have probably been better if they just gave the lamp to Weiss, said, I need to go to Ironwood, and tell them, okay, this is the plan, this is what we do, and then bring back, and then like, okay, can you let my team I can't let my friends into Atlas. Or hell, just get the lab to Atlas. Like, this. And then she sort of does it. Like, she does sort of takes the offer. But then does, like. But then does the hijacking plot, which John proposed. So, like, everyone just grabs stupid juice, except for the next character I'm gonna talk, which is Crow. Crow actually does something. Actually has character now. It isn't just a... I mean, like, since Volume 3, I guess. He's actually not just an exposition machine. And we get to see him react to new things. He was always the one that knows everything, and now we learn that he's been sort of lied to. He's been working under the precedent that they're going, like, they have a sure plan of winning against Salem, and well, now he learns that Salem is, number one, immortal, and two, that the Osprey doesn't have a plan. He's just kind of winging it, hoping that something works. So, yeah, so now Crow is, like, so now Crow is sort of, I guess, doubting everything, and doubting what the missions were for, because they can't kill Salem. They just can't do it. At least not in the state that they're in. So he sort of slips back into heavy drinking. He sort of slips into heavy drinking. And they sort of get him out of it. Which is, I don't know how to feel about that. Just sort of get over it. But Crow, as the only adult, licensed huntsman, like actual, like, you know, legal, like, adult here, like, has a hunting license, has the experience on the job. Like, it's probably supposed to be saving the world instead of these kids. I mean, every single one of them except for Ruby is like 18. So there's that. Aside from that, he's the only one who's actually trained, licensed, and all that. And he says that stealing an Atlas ship, which is a kingdom that is on high alert, is closing borders, and is trying probably not to get attacked like Beacon and like Haven, which just got attacked too. And he says, hey, maybe we shouldn't steal one of their ships. And everyone's like, no, you're stupid. We're gonna steal one of the ships. And like, what? No. I kind of ruins the finale because it could have been avoided all. But yeah. Crow I actually kind of like Crow here, except for the drinking part. That's kind of not cool. But yeah. So let's talk about another character. Let's talk about Oscar and Ospen. Oscar and Ospen, Oscar goes fucking... He gets hit hard here. He's not having the time of day. He's not well. He's not handling this well. He's getting beat left, right, and center. To be honest, I feel like it's an overreaction from everybody. Hitting a kid that doesn't have to do anything with this, just because the guy in his head lied to people. I think Crow and it's like a lot of people would probably have restrained hitting Oscar because they would subconsciously know that he didn't have to do anything with it. I don't know. I feel like it's just too much to hit Oscar for it. He didn't do anything. He's innocent here. And Ospen, after sort of learning what he's hidden, which I will talk about in the plot, he sort of disappears, and I don't know if we'll ever see him again. So yeah, there's not much for Oscar here other than fucking getting beaten half to death by people, by an actual dog, enduring child abuse. But yeah. So that's it for Oscar and Osmond, I think. And next up is Maria. And I do like Maria. I like the idea of Maria. Maria is like this is another silver-eyed warrior, or was a silver-eyed warrior, who lost her eyes because of Salem, because Salem sent a mercenary after her. And now, and she's lost an oath. She's lost the will to fight, and she randomly joins these kids for no reason. I kind of just understand what's going on. I feel like that's a bit too much, but I actually kind of like the. I like her idea of the character sort of being the wise mentor that RWBY kind of needed, but she's kind of a cuckoo crazy. And I do like that, but I feel like she's actually kind of funny, to be genuinely honest. Kind of funny. There's some jokes that don't land, like the Cassius joke. I don't really like that one. I liked it better when it was just like I mentioned in the past. We kind of get it already by that point that she hates Caroline or Cordovan. But yeah. Yeah, Maria is actually interesting. She's a good. I like her fight scene. I guess she doesn't really have a motivation to even join these kids. They're just kind of there. She's just kind of there. And I do like that she inspired like Crow and all that, and it's a pretty cool like lore character, I guess. But yeah. So some other characters I guess I gotta talk about. I already talked about Adam. Cinder does nothing, kind of. She just kind of recruits Neo back into doing stuff for her. Neo does nothing again. She shows up, has a cool fight scene, and then leaves. Leaves for Atlas. The Salem is gonna do things next volume, apparently, I guess. I don't know. She's gonna do more stuff. Watts still does nothing. All the villains sit around doing nothing, so that's awesome. I don't know what they're waiting for. Because the Grim are attracted to the lamp. They are, so that means that Salem could probably find the lamp. It's probably not that hard. So yeah, I think that's it. I gotta say about the character. So let's talk about the plot. So I gotta say I said it before last time, but I didn't like the volume 5 because it didn't feel like 2 months had passed, and I feel like 2 months was too much time for it to have feasibly, I guess, the volume to have happened feasibly. So what I like about this one is the fact that it doesn't feel like that. It's a tighter narrative. Everything feels tighter. It feels like everything's passing, not slowly, but at a good pace. And the time doesn't. I think Nora says they've been waiting for weeks. I can sort of guess that because they were on a train. So, and trains and going by train is, you probably don't know this, but it's a lot faster than going on foot. So I kind of guess they would be kind of missing for a few days or like a week at most. And I don't mind that, actually. So yeah, and it's a tighter narrative. Characters, it's a lot. I think it's a lot better. It's a lot better. It's a lot tighter. It doesn't feel like we're sort of wasting time doing nothing. It's a tighter narrative. And some other things I actually kind of like is the new revelations. I kind of said before that everything that was added to RWBY before, like the maidens and the relics and the gods and all that, was just sort of added in retroactively, retconning it. Like, for example, why Were there no relics? Why was not? Why, motherfucker? Why didn't they find a relic, a beacon? Because I'm guessing the relics weren't like thought of then. Oh, Osman hit it better. Okay, that's a great ass retcon, but whatever. And then it's like, well, they're just adding more and then retconning what happened before and all that. But in here, they are. It's not. It's sort of. It's adding. It's explaining what was already there with like Salem's backstory and all in like the gods and all that, and how the maiden. Well, we already know how the maidens came to be, but where Ospen came from, when Salem came from, where the Grimm came from, where Rendon kind of came from, in and of itself. So yeah, I do like that. I do like it's just adding onto it. It's not adding onto it. It's explaining what's already there, and it adds. It was what we needed, because a lot of what RWBY had, a lot of the lore, was sort of not explained. It was very confusing, I guess. Like it wasn't like, okay, I'm missing something here. There's a lot missing here. And the fact that Crow didn't know, I think it adds a lot more. So yeah, I think that's all I gotta say. I honestly, I enjoyed the volume. I think the ending is sort of the only thing that really ruined it, but I feel like just it is solid overall. Like it's not. It has its bad moments. I know. I didn't even talk about Cordovan. I think Cordovan's just kind of. And I didn't like Cordovan, but I don't know. Like Cordovan's fine for what her character's supposed to be. Yeah. To be honest, I sort of liked Volume 6. It was okay. The heavy drawback is the finale, which does heavily draw it back. And I was originally gonna put in a B tier, but to be honest with you, that finale really does ruin it for me. It's kind of like what do you call it? I forgot. We read it. Secret Invasion. Oh wait, no, I haven't. Wait, that's coming out later. But Secret Invasion, the finale ruined it all for me because it was so short and so like misguided and all that. I didn't like it finally, Secret Invasion. But I sort of like this one, and I'm gonna put it on the C tier. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't as horribly horrendous. It wasn't as horrendous as Volume 5, but it still isn't as good as like Volume 3. So yeah. What did you guys think about Volume 6? Volume 6? Leave in the comments below. You can find all our socials on the channel page, and for me, it's at MercurySC on YouTube, AO3 Wattpad at fanfiction.net, at MercurySCheese on Twitter, and MercuryCcheese on Twitch. So yeah, that's about it. See ya.